I really like soil science. That's a very interesting topic that is very understudied.
So is that just the study of soil?
Just the study of
Just
soil.
the study of soil?
The soils are incredible because they're the intersection of like the lithosphere, the atmosphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and it's very biodiverse. When you pick up like a teaspoon or a handful of soil, like you have billions of organisms and species in there.
So is there a way to like? Is there like a? I'm sorry. I'm assuming there's like a soil sampler, like a soil tester, where you can get the organizations or not organizations.
Oh yeah, there are many ways.
Wait, no, not organizations. No, what's the word? Organisms. Various organisms in the soil or whatnot. I'm assuming like there's some things that we can dive into deeper because you're saying it's like understudied, and I'm just wondering like understudied in what way? Like, is it just not understood, or just not enough has been put towards it?
Well, there's many questions going on there. I feel like, I mean, there's very few ways where we can track all the species that are in the soil. I mean, we know, a lot of them, but it's very hard to quantify like that. There's also the physical properties of the soil within that, and I think we're just sort of starting to understand a lot of those, and a lot of what like agriculture and stuff like that, what that does to the soil.
So by properties, could it be like mineral content or water absorption?
Yeah, exactly.
Things like that?
Yeah. Also like density, bulk density too, how compact the soil is, acidity, sometimes temperature too, because soils can retain heat and also give out heat.
Okay.
So usually in physics fields, or at least the ones that we're interested in, you have a field or something to know, and then there's a reason to know that, right? So tell me, like, what does knowing about the soil tell you? Like, does it tell you things about the plant? Yes. Does it tell you things about the environment? Like, what is it? What does knowing about the soil tell you?
Knowing about the soils is a very good indicator of how healthy the environment is. That's a very good question. There's a lot of different applications for that too. And when you get like humans involved, knowing what kind of soil you have would be good for like if you want to grow stuff, if you want to dispose of stuff too. If you need a septic tank for your house or something, you might need a soil scientist to then go and check to see if your soil can actually drain the compounds.
Wait, septic tanks just go right into the ground? I thought
they go into the ground. There's also measures to prevent leakage, but basically they're put in the ground, and then you have microbes that work to like try and decompose it. And that's what the soil is all about. It's all about microbes and fungi, everything. They're recycling all the nutrients. And carbon. Soils contain they are the biggest reserve of carbon on the earth. So they contain more carbon than the trees. They contain more carbon than I think than what the ocean can actually dissolve. So they're very important, especially now with climate change.
Why? Wait, why? I don't understand that statement. Why, especially now with climate change?
Well, especially now with climate, we can use soils to sequester carbon. So if we practice agriculture, and agriculture is tough. I think that there are ways where we can do agriculture better to sequester carbon into the ground.
Like a different process of taking it out of the soil, like a different scientific process, or like just a different approach.
It's a different approach to agriculture. One of the biggest destructive things that humans have done is plowed the soil.
Really? Wait, sorry, I'm very unknowledgeable with this subject. Wait, aren't you supposed to plow?
Plowing the soil gives you some short-term benefits, but when you look at the long term, the soil in the long term, it's going to get compacted, it's going to get depleted with nutrients, and then you're going to emit more carbon than you're actually sequestering in the ground.
That's just funny, isn't it? Oops.
Yeah.
That's just a little funny.
It's also a big. I mean, when you plow the land, you're leaving the land bare for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can have forces like the wind and water wash away a lot of the soil and dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and that contributes a lot of the time to desertification. So you're having a lot of areas on the planet right now that could be sequestering carbon, but they're not because they're being used for agriculture, and then they're degrading the land that way, turning them into more arid areas.
Ouch.
I remember reading about desertification in grade 8, and
Really?
I read about I had a geography class.
That's interesting.
And basically, I don't know how much you know about this, just because every topic is just so broad. But I read about one thing where farmers would plant rows of trees to section off the fields, just because the roots, having a contour of roots did something for the soil. And what's that about?
The roots, they keep the soil in place.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's very important. Humans have, by removing trees in a lot of cases, accelerated erosion. Erosion can be bad for a lot of different circumstances, but especially in these cases when they become deserts, where you're just letting this sediment blow around. It's very important also to have trees by coastal areas to help reinforce them, rather than just adding hard concrete seawalls.
You always see that.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Or around rivers, bank reinforcements. A lot of times they'll just try to straighten it out, put concrete in them, but that just usually causes erosion elsewhere. And it's usually the trees, the fungi in the soil that keep it together. I like natural solutions, so I'm gonna say that's the best solution. Coastal areas, especially mangrove forests, those will trap sediments, and mangrove forests are going to be very important when you have rising sea levels, because if they're getting that sediment and then trapping it in those areas, then they'll be able to keep up. Otherwise, if the sediment's going in other places, then they won't.